About 3 weeks ago, I started playing Lord of the Rings Online again. Like many people, I jumped back in for the 15-year anniversary, and it wasn't until this last week that I realized that I had been playing the game completely wrong. Because I'd been playing it like every other MMO I've played before. I was grinding quests as fast as I can without reading anything like I would in World of Warcraft, and grinding up power and just trying to get through things quickly so I can get to endgame like I did in Elder Scrolls Online. And again, it wasn't until this last week where I realized that I'd been doing it wrong. And so I wanted to make a quick video on 5 tips that I have for beginners or returning players coming in to make a fresh start in the Lord of the Rings Online. I wanted to walk through 5 things that I think really helped me understand this game, and that's why I'm going to call them the 5 immersion tips, because I think that immersing yourself in this game is really the best way to experience it. So let's jump on into it. Okay, my first tip is I want you to recognize the type of game that you are playing. Lord of the Rings Online is a wonderful, immersive game that is 15 years old, and it lacks some of the big budget game features that many people have come to expect from a top MMORPG. It's something that very much threw me off when I first started playing this game, because what happened was I jumped into the game and immediately I expected to have Year of Our Lord 2022 convenient systems ready for me, and this is just not that game. It's a 15-year-old game with some 15-year-old systems that has not had the budget to keep up with many of the bigger games. But there actually is a real positive side to all of this. Beneath the surface, Lord of the Rings Online hides a beauty that few other MMORPGs can really boast of. It's an immersive world that does not demand 40 hours a week to keep up with the Joneses in your guild. Instead, it's a game that lets you get lost in the world of Middle-earth, quest slowly, and just enjoy the world that Tolkien created. This is not a min-max, endgame focused MMORPG, and I actually think that's a good thing. There is truly a richness in the nicheness in Lord of the Rings Online. Lord of the Rings Online is a lot like a bowl of ice cream. If you eat it too fast, you're gonna get absolutely brain frozen. But if you take it slow, it's an awesome experience. As I was playing the other night, I was playing with some friends on Twitch, and I was just enjoying nerding out about the game, talking about the areas that you would walk up to that were in the book. I was talking about Tom Bombadil, and we were theorizing about who he was, and as I was doing this, I was questing slowly, and I was enjoying the quest text, and I was just immersing myself in the world, and I was like, oh, here's the magic in this game. Every game has that magical moment for a gamer, but for you to realize as a new player that this is a game of immersing yourself in Middle-earth and enjoying this world around you with friends, that's what this game is really about. And that's why it's my first and probably most important immersion tip. Jump in, dive in, and really immerse yourself in this world, and you're gonna have a great time. Okay, number 2, this is an easy one. Use headphones, please. If you have headphones, especially good sounding headphones, use those things liberally. This is all about embracing yourself into the world, but really, Lord of the Rings Online with their music and sound design have done a fantastic job. Because this game is all about immersion, this game is best experienced with headphones turned up, and I say in a comfortable chair with a nice glass of wine or warm drink at the end of the day. Chance Thomas, the composer of Lord of the Rings Online's music, decided to just go full throttle on the quality of his score, and it absolutely shows. He didn't have to do this, I don't think, and Chance Thomas is a lot like Phil Collins when he wrote the Tarzan soundtrack. I mean, it just absolutely slaps, and it was just a Disney movie. He didn't have to do that good with it. You'll be in my heart. But he decided to make it amazing, and now it's legendary, and I think Chance Thomas did the same thing with this game. When you just sit back and enjoy the music of the area surrounding you, even in the starting areas, you will be blown away by how it really takes you into the Lord of the Rings universe. And I really encourage you, turn that music up, put those headphones on, and immerse yourself into the music of this world. All right, number 3, read that quest text. Now, this is coming from a full-on hypocrite because I have never read a line of quest text in my life. I have played MMORPGs for 15 years, and I don't like reading quests. I'm the guy that walks into the town, picks up every single quest, and then goes out and does them, brings them back, and doesn't read a thing. I'm an efficiency kind of guy, and this is not that kind of a game. Lord of the Rings Online finds its fullness in the story, and it's amazing. Friends, I am not ashamed to admit it. I have played through World of Warcraft Shadowlands 3 times. I know, rip my brain. But I've walked through all of these covenants, and for the life of me, because I have not read quest text, I have no idea what the covenants stand for or what they're about. All I know is that one is angels, the other one is for cosplayers, the third one is for glowy furries, and the last one was my taste in music in high school. Maybe that's more of a me problem than anything, but I encourage you to read the quest text. This MMORPG, especially in the first 50, 60 levels, was created to compete with World of Warcraft, and it was created to be a story-based alternative to the behemoth that was World of Warcraft back in the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King days. And it shows. You know, I've actually found myself getting immersed into the side story quests of this game almost as much as I do with the main story quest of this game, just by reading the quest text and taking my time and enjoying it. It's a really fascinating thing. One of the quests that I did, I remember I was in the Shire and I decided to slow on down and just read the text. I walked up to a hobbit and he said, "There's an arrow in my door," and I still remember the details. It had a hobbit arrowhead and it had a man arrow shaft, and I had to go through this mystery of who shot this at my door, and it turned out it was this guy that had hated his family for a long time, and then there was this reconciliation, and it's a beautiful story, like genuinely. And it was all in a side quest that I could have totally missed by just going up and killing some wolves, picking some berries, and handing over bandages. I mean, it would have been so easy, but this game really does draw you in with this quest text. So just like a Final Fantasy person would say, don't you dare skip the cutscenes, I would encourage you, don't you dare not read the quest text, especially on a quest chain that you're planning to follow for a bit. All right, immersion technique for new players. Number 4, don't use the level boost. Do not use the level boost. Again, if you're like me, coming from hardcore min-maxing MMOs, I came into this thinking I'm gonna use that 120 level boost, I'm gonna jump all the way to the end, and then I'm gonna start raiding. And I regret that decision so much. There's actually a video on my channel of me just becoming completely overwhelmed by the level boost, because this game has 15 years of mechanics and systems that it's built in that whenever you jump straight to 120 or 130 or whatever you decide to do, you get it all hit you in the face at once, and it can be very confusing and very overwhelming. But more than that, you actually miss out on what this game is really trying to offer you as a new player. This game is trying to offer you an experience of Middle-earth that allows you to fully explore the world that Tolkien created. And I think that that's the richness of this game. In fact, I had one YouTube commenter say, good luck trying to find in-game raid information, because most people don't even get there. There are people that have been playing this game for 5-6 years that are still just slowly questing and making alternate characters and enjoying a zone and hanging out there with friends. I mean, that's kind of what this game is about. It's about immersing yourself. Now, there certainly is an in-game element. There are great raids. You can see them on Twitch every night. There's great in-game dungeons and even player versus monster player content if you can find a group in that one. There's a lot of great stuff in this game, and I want you to experience the whole thing. And trust me, don't level boost. In my opinion, using a level boost in this game is kind of like going to a 5-star restaurant, ordering the steak and the potatoes and the finest glass of wine that you can, and then as soon as they sit it down at your place, you toss it all in the trash and ask for the check and pay for the whole thing full price. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're there to enjoy the experience, not just to get fed the end game. And so I would encourage you, don't use a level boost, especially on your first character. Just give yourself time to go through the story. I promise you will enjoy it. Okay, and then this is my last tip for you, okay? You ready? Nerd out, bro. Nerd out, bro. Enjoy the fact that you are jumping into one of the nerdiest games in existence. This is a Lord of the Rings fan MMORPG. It don't get much more nerdy than that, and I think that you should embrace that. Don't worry about what everybody else is going to think, because everybody in this game loves Lord of the Rings just as much as you do. In fact, I talked with one viewer on Twitch the other night, and it was so much fun hearing his journey, his experience. He's in Moria right now, and he says, I'm reading The Fellowship of the Ring at the pace at which I am leveling through the game. He said, so when I got to Moria, I read up to Moria, and then when I get through that, then I read through the end of that to Lothlorien, and then I'm gonna go to Lorien next, and I'm gonna read that chapter. And I was like, that's so nerdy and so awesome. And I would encourage you, actually, if you've been looking for an excuse to read these books, I would encourage you to try it out, because when Turbine first licensed the Lord of the Rings content, they licensed the content from the books, not from the movies. And so you'll notice a lot of little lore elements that exist in the books that, of course, the movies just didn't have time for, that are just there. For instance, on part of the Hobbit questing, you go run into Fredegar Bolger, who was one of the company at the beginning that with Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin. He was one of their helpers. He was actually kind of the fifth in that little company, and he stayed behind in the Shire when those four went off into the Old Forest. Well, as they were gone, the house that he's staying in gets ransacked by the Nazgul, and you actually get to visit that house in the game. The doors are all smashed in, and it's a really cool thing that they took that detail. And so as you go through this game, this may be a great opportunity for you to read what is, in my opinion, the best work of modern literature out there, because you'll be able to experience it as you play in this immersive world. Now, as you've heard this, I would love to know your thoughts. This is a very immersive game. It's a very different MMORPG. It's not necessarily about rushing to endgame. It's not necessarily about min-maxing your raid spot. What it really is about is going into Middle-earth and immersing yourself in it. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Does this sound like the kind of game that you want to play? Do you get excited hearing about this, or do you not? If you're an experienced player, leave in the comments below maybe something that I missed about the immersion of this game and how you personally have enjoyed the game yourself. As always, if you liked this video, please like it. If you really loved the video and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. It actually does a ton for my self-confidence, but it also does a ton for the channel and the algorithm for you to subscribe. So please be sure to do that. But hey friends, as always, as we end, you are more loved than you know, and you are so much more valuable than you realize. I hope you have an incredible day, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like. It's totally free to do. Subscribe if you want to see more. And as always, I'm live on Twitch over at twitch.tv/brightlifecommunity. We're a community of positive and uplifting gamers. Come find a friend to raid with, grab loot with, and just enjoy life together with. Hope you have an awesome day. Be blessed, and you are so loved and so valuable.